Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi. I
Hi.
can.
Yes. Were you early or was I late?
I'm very early.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Woo,
How
because
are
these
you?
things are stressful enough as they are, and
Oh,
I did
yes.
not want to be late.
Thank
So
you for
I'm
having me.
glad you got a few minutes to just sit and chill then, I suppose.
Yeah, it's been good. It's what is it? It's quarter to 11 in the evening over here. I came back from rehearsal a bit earlier, so it's been nice to kind of
Uh-huh.
settle in.
Yeah, when they sent around the information, they pointed out to remind us that you guys are like 12 hours ahead of us. Um, and I thought, for somebody in a band, midnight, that's like the middle of the day. But I don't know if that's the same when you're not in the middle of touring and a bunch of stuff.
Oh, it's definitely the same.
Yeah.
I'm very much
Well,
a night owl.
I don't know how much information they give you about who you're talking to. So my name's Ken. I'm from WVLP, which is a small station in Valparaiso in the state of Indiana, which is our town's about an hour outside of Chicago.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
and I do a weekly heavy metal show on that station. So um, that's
Lovely.
that's why I'm here, and I'm happy to talk to you. Uh,
Likewise.
Thanks. Could just I'm gonna I'm recording this so that I can put
Yep.
the audio on the radio, and probably also, if it's cool with you, just post the video of it online as well. Uh,
Yeah, that's fine.
but for people that don't know the big picture, uh, I mean, you're from the band Voyager, and could you please pronounce your last name so I don't make a fool of myself?
So my surname is Doodkorte. I always tell people it rhymes with food court.
Okay, that would have actually been my attempt, so it would have worked out.
Perfect. Yeah, I've heard everything under the sun, so
Yeah.
it's
uh, so Ash Doodkorte from Voyager, thank you for taking the time to talk to the people that are listening here. And
thank you very
what I'd
much for
like
having
to
me here.
do, you're welcome. I would like to chat for a few minutes about sort of the big picture with the band and what's going on, and then talk a little bit about the new album, and then whatever other assorted nonsense is left to go after that.
I'm full of
Uh,
assorted nonsense.
yeah. So what I was hoping to get from you here is when over here in the US and well the world, every social media is curated, so the things you're interested in or the things that you're getting fed. uh, and the perspective over here is that Voyager has just exploded. It's like there's news about you guys all the time. There's press interviews. Danny's going on news shows, thing and things like that. Is that like a good perception, or is it a little moderated, or how do you guys feel about what's happening?
It definitely feels that way. We obviously had the help of a very small little thing earlier in the year called Eurovision that helped sort of bring
Mm-hmm.
us to the attention of a lot of people. And as a band that's been around for pushing 25 years now, we make it a habit to not squander any opportunities that come our way. So we've been trying to do our best to make the most of this, and we've really been sort of putting ourselves out there, and we've got a really good team helping us do that. So yeah, it definitely has been a bit of an explosion and a lot of work behind the scenes. But of course, we curate that, so you don't see all that stuff. You just see us doing the
Uh-huh.
awesome thing. Yeah.
We just see all the fun stuff, not the hard work that goes on behind it.
Yes, and the hard work's lots of fun too. But yeah, this stuff is extra fun.
Or I imagine you guys getting a lot of mileage on your credit cards for buying flights and things like that.
Yeah, that and everything else that you have to expend being in a band. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, we're racking up the frequent flyer points, that's for sure.
Um, well, that's great to hear, and I'm hoping that this is going to spur a lot of activity. I know you've got some tour dates coming up in Europe later
Yeah.
this year, and I'm guessing that the support for this album is just going to keep carrying on well into next year. Uh, do you see like a time frame for how all of this is going to play out?
Gee, I mean, you never know. it's really funny. Like I keep falling into the trap of thinking, cool, the album's out, the work's done now. But it's like it's completely the opposite. Now the work begins. It's always good to get a good year and a half, 2 years out of an album cycle, I think. And
Mhm.
at least personally, I'm someone who likes to tour a lot. So I'm hoping to get a lot of mileage, both metaphorically and very literally, out of this one.
Uh-huh. You always look like you're having a great time there behind the drum kit, working out all your anger and smiling and having a good time.
I think drummers are the most balanced people out there because any aggression or anything they have just completely dissipates once you get on the kit. You can take it out on the drums.
I can
And it's the only
imagine.
form of exercise I ever get as well. So I have to make the most of it.
I don't know that I've ever seen a drummer, under the age of 60 or so that was anything but skinny.
Yeah. Well, it's the full workout. It's cardio for that hour you're on stage. And then you get in your reps with the lifting weights when you've got to load everything in and out. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's the perfect exercise. I'm very fortunate that I got into drums because I'm not motivated for anything else particularly physical. So
Uh-huh.
this has worked out
Yeah.
very well for me.
That's great. Uh, I have to admit, I'm not totally familiar with a lot of the details about performances and things. I've gotten to see you guys once at Prague Power in the
Oh,
U.S.
awesome.
And so do you participate in a lot of the vocals during your performances, or even on the album, or are you just kind of mostly the back end there?
Very much the back end. I should not be allowed anywhere near a microphone. There's a very good reason I sit at the back of the stage.
Awesome. So the new album is Fearless in Love, and one of the first things I noticed about it when I started listening to it, I had a road trip this weekend, so I got to listen to the whole thing in the car, which is a great place to do it uninterrupted. Um, especially over the last couple of albums, each album has sort of had its own sort of musical identity as compared to some of the others. But this one, it really seems like you guys honed in on something that you wanted to have that I don't have the vocabulary to express. But like, really, you decided exactly the sound you were going to go for, and it is just pervasive. And I can't really describe it well, but is that close to on the mark?
I feel the same thing when I listen to it. I also lack the words to describe what that is. We never really walk in with a set intention to like write in a particular way or do anything like we never really think about concept albums or anything like that. We just kind of start writing and see what comes out of us. But yeah, there's something about this album that just it really brought the best out of our songwriting. I think I think part of that was sort of down to how we were kind of forced to write it. Obviously, there's been things going on the last couple of years that make it harder to get five people into a small confined space and
Yeah.
jam things out.
Hmm.
So there was a lot of like passing ideas back and forth. And I think one of the knock-on effects of that was we spent a lot of time listening to each other.
Yep.
Um, and I know that sounds silly because that should be what you do as a bunch of musicians, but when you're all in a jam room together, there's lots of volume and there's lots of ambient noise, and you don't
Hmm.
you don't quite hear everything. This time we were forced to sit down and just listen to every part, and
Hmm.
it really encouraged us to tighten up our songwriting a lot. And I feel like we just kind of we got to the point of every song, like we really crafted every song to be its own thing, and
Hmm.
somehow that's resulted in it just having this really nice through line throughout the album that kind of goes up and down, but everything feels kind of linked but very different. And yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but it feels very focused.
But that resonates with me from listening to it all the way through like that, because what you just described is exactly true. It's like the train left the station, and every song has you know, its own vibe to it, but it fits together very, very well as one kind of long train ride from beginning to end.
Yeah,
Um,
I like to think of it as an album full of love songs, but there's just so many different kinds of love that we're sort of touching on a bit of everything.
mhm. And that's one of the things I like is that it's a happy album. I mean, it could be one of those that's like insidiously happy that if you really listen, it's not, but at least on the surface. It's like, you're metal. What are you guys doing being happy about things?
It's really weird. It's like simultaneously our most accessible, but also our darkest album, I think. So I don't really know how that works, but yeah, yeah, shades of light and dark.
I may be a child. I mean, you can probably tell from the gray, I'm a child of vinyl and cassettes. And so 44 minutes, which is the approximate runtime, is just perfect. With all due respect to Mr. Petrucci, 78 is too much to be able to kind of experience the full album from beginning to end and keep track of it. So was that, I mean, knowing that you had another 30 minutes available, say on a CD, was that a deliberate choice to stop there? Did you leave some songs on the side for next time, or how did that work out?
No, we it's funny, like there was a point maybe like 9 years ago or something, where it's funny, it really stuck with us. A reviewer said we had this album, I think it was V or maybe the one before, but one of our albums had something like 15 tracks on it, and the reviewer complained that the album was too long. And I don't know why, but that just really stuck with us. Like, fine, well, don't get value for money then. We'll just maybe we don't need 15 songs. I don't know why, but no, it wasn't. Again, it's not like a conscious thing necessarily as well. It's just it's. I wish I could explain it better, but things are done when they feel done, and just we had everything we needed. We thought, to have a cohesive album there. So we didn't save anything for next time, but we sort of got to that point where it's like, what else do we need for this album? Like, is there another idea waiting that needs to be developed or not? And actually, now that I think about it, there was another song or two that we had that didn't make it at all. And one of them was just like this ridiculous black metal blast beat thing. The whole way through, we're just like, I have no idea how this is going to fit with everything else, but it came out of us. But yeah, no, I guess, yeah. Now that I cast my mind back, yeah, it was done because we just couldn't add anything to it that would improve it.
Well, those will get stuck onto the remastered version that'll come out in 12 years in hologram form or something like that.
There's a very good reason why there aren't many blast beats on Voyager albums, and they're very hard to play.
Well, I was going to ask, would you like there to be more blast beats on the Voyager albums?
I am usually the nay vote when it comes to blast beats, and everyone else is like, yes, please, let's have some more.
Does your drum kit have his own pet name like the keytar?
Oh, do you know what? It doesn't. Doesn't at all. I tend to call everything I own, whether it's cars or kits, or they're all just Bessie. So, but no, I haven't given this kit its own name.
That is a global phenomenon, because that's a very common name for, cattle cars, things like that over here too.
I'm sure I got it from some TV show or something at some point. Yeah. Good old Bessie.
For somebody who's listening that doesn't know what the heck that was about, so Danny Estrand, the singer, keyboard player, he has the keytar that he likes to break out once in a while, and his pet name for it starts with a P, I think. Is it Priscilla or Penelope, or do you remember? Do you know?
The keytar?
Yeah. I thought I saw an interview where he referenced it by a lady's name, like it had a pet name. Brenda. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, but that came from there was an interviewer we saw maybe 4 or 5 times over our Eurovision journey. His name was Andy. That's his mum's name.
Oh, okay.
He told us his mother was a fan of the band, and we could never get through to her. We tried calling her and everything to say hi. So we just decided to name the keytar after her.
That's great. So I did a little experiment to see how you got, again, I've got the gray. I wanted to see how you guys are doing with the younger generation. So I have a daughter who's 19, and she's got some friends from college, and they are, they're still in the crowd that likes to listen to the gentlemen who used to be in One Direction, and now they're going out and spreading their wings in solo. So I sent the YouTube video link for your Eurovision performance of Dreamer to my daughter, and I said, would you and your friends please rate this on a scale of 1 to 5? and
oh boy.
I figured I would, aggregate the results. And you guys are doing well. My daughter, who is the pickiest, she gave it a 4 out of 5. One of her friends gave it I've got this stuff down. I actually have this on my notes here. One of them 4.5 out of 5. And one girl gave it a 4.84, and she actually wrote the song was catchy and the band had great stage presence. The lead singer was very fun and I liked his hair.
Aw.
She didn't say anything about the drummer's hair.
And my wife missing out on a demographic.
And my wife gave it a 4 out of 5 last night, but she said watching that video made her dizzy.
Oh, that's all the spinning, yeah.
With all the lights.
That's really cool. I'm very surprised.
How much of that do you guys actually remember? Or was it such a whirlwind that just whoosh?
Oh, the Eurovision thing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, I am cherishing every memory of that whole process. I'm doing this very healthy thing where I'm sort of not trying to process too much, so I don't have to come down from the high that I've still got from the whole thing.
That's great.
Yeah, it was an absolute whirlwind, and I've never worked so hard on my band before, but every part of it was a joy. It was just fantastic.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. I was really happy to see you guys doing that.
Yeah, it was a dream come true. Like if you told me 10 years ago, you know, your little band from Perth, Australia is going to be on the Eurovision stage, I'd be like, well, that's impossible. That doesn't happen.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite song either to listen to or to play on the album?
Oh, geez. I really love playing the last track, Gren, Fearless in Love. It's just especially the last like 2 minutes, it's just such a soaring, huge melody. But I think we recorded that song maybe 4 or 5 times more than we needed to in the studio because we were all just having so much fun playing it. And I've got some video from it, and you can just see us all looking at each other in the end part, just going, "Oh my god!" So yeah, I can't wait to play that live at some point. I really like listening to the lamenting. I'm a really big fan of sad songs. There's something that feels really good about being moved by a song, and the lamenting really does that for me. I think like the first time I heard the recorded version, I kind of teared up a little bit sort of towards the end, and I love it when a song that does that to me. So it's definitely
yeah. Were there any? I looked in the press kit for this, and I wasn't able to find a whole lot of details. But were there any people doing small guest vocals on the album? Because I could have sworn I heard a little bit of Devin Townsend like vocals. I think it was during Submarine towards the end.
Yeah, I know exactly the part you're referring to, and that is our erstwhile bass player Alex Canyon on the vocals. There, he has a phenomenal voice. He belted it, and that was a surprise to all of us because that wasn't in the pre-production demo. That part. We just started hearing these first mixes from when him and Danny had been doing some vocals. And yeah, just we were all blown away. I didn't realize he had that massive a scream in him. He also does like a lot of the screamy and growly parts in Promise as well. And he's got parts all over the album. He does a lot of the backing vocals, and yeah, he's got a very angelic voice. We do have one guest appearance in Ultraviolet. Again, towards the end, we got Sean Harmanis from Make Them Suffer. Provides the growls at the end. He's a force of nature, that guy, and his vocals are just terrifyingly heavy, and it suits the song perfectly.
Well, it's good that you have some of that stuff in there because I don't know if you flip through Decibel magazine or if you've seen the current Seasons of Mist full page layout in it. Sorry, my dog is barking at the mail truck going by. She knows when I'm on the microphone, when I'm recording for the radio show, she starts it up. So Seasons of Mist, your label for the last, is this the 3rd album with them now? Second, actually. Second? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hopefully they're treating you very well. It seems like it because you're sort of front and center in this full page layout. And it's sort of interesting because the band's sort of around the Voyager design, the Voyager graphic. are is Signosis, described as classically tinged progressive death metal. Profanatica, first wave black metal barbarity. Rotting Christ, everybody's heard of them. The Devil's Trade, deep, dark, and brooding folkish rock hybrid. Well, that's not so bad. All the labels that can't be read, or all the logos that can't be read, and then right smack in the middle is the bright blue bar with the nice clear font that you can read everything.
You have no idea how happy that makes me.
It stands out very, very well. And I really love the design of the album cover, because I'm an old math professor. So anything that's symmetric or has nice patterns to it just always gets me. So I really like that sort of symmetric design with the names and the titles, the symmetric picture with the contrasting colors. I actually, right before I jumped in here, I said, wait, I've got the perfect shirt to put on. So I've got the light blue and white shirt. So,
and dark blue.
Yeah. So how did you did any of you guys design that personally, or how did? Very good.
I'm a graphic designer by trade, so that's kind of my wheelhouse. Yeah. And actually, I used to tutor in maths as well, so maybe there's a little of that bleeding through.
That could be.
Yeah, I love the cover. One of the things I really enjoyed about that is the fact that you can rotate it 90 degrees, and it's always going to read as the album cover, but from a slightly different perspective. It's kind of the idea there.
Yeah, it's great. Especially, I mean, the days are long gone when I would collect vinyl, but that would be a super album cover to hold up a large thing and turn it around and stare at it.
Oh yeah, I've got it somewhere. I haven't been brave enough to take it out of the wrapping yet, but it's here somewhere.
Don't do that. Leave it in the wrapping.
I know. I know. I have to get two so I can listen to one and keep the other for posterity.
Okay. Well, I'm going to let you take a break here in a minute. What I'd like to ask you to do is help me program a set of like a 20-minute or so set for my show that I can play after this audio. I will pick out 2 Voyager tracks, at least, certainly one off the new album and maybe one older song for contrast. If you had to pick, which you do, because I'm making you do this, if you had to pick 2 songs from any other bands that sort of pair well with Voyager, like a good wine pairs with a meal, what would they be?
Oh, okay. I'm going to give you 2 fairly disparate things here.
Okay.
I think. Oh gosh, which one? Which one would I give you? I want to give you a Leprous track. I think. Which one would I give you? I'm a really big fan of the song "The Price" by Leprous.
Okay.
I'm chucking that on there because we've done a lot of touring with Leprous, and it doesn't make sense that we should be on the same bill, but it really works. Like it's like we're the party band, and then they come on and they're like the serious dour band, and it's such a perfect match. So I'm going to give you that. And then I'm going to go completely the other end of the spectrum. It's another band we've toured with, another band from Australia, 12 Foot Ninja.
Oh, okay.
They have a song, unfortunately, sort of disbanded fairly recently, but they're just genre twisting, defying, great bunch of humorous dudes. Like we just gel so well. They have a song called "One Hand Killing," which is it's bonkers, but it's great. And I know we're on radio, but if you hear the song and you like it, I strongly recommend that you check out video. All of their videos are fantastic. They have very uniquely Australian humor. It's almost like if you took Faith No More and bathed it in the Australian sun until it didn't know which way was up and which way was down. And yeah, just everything got a bit messed up. So yeah, 12 Foot Ninja, One Hand Killing, and Leprous The Price. I think it's great.
All right.
And they're road-tested combinations.
There we go. I'm gonna put it together. And it's fun that you mentioned Leprous, because like you guys, they're one of the bands that that a lot of us in the US were exposed to through the Prague Power Festival. And then several years later, they're a lot bigger. They're all over the place touring, and it's been wonderful to watch.
Yeah, phenomenal musicians, amazing songwriters, and just very funny guys as well.
Contrary to their grouchiness on stage, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
We make it a mission to try and bring the fun out of them on stage, much to their chagrin.
Okay. Well, thank you, Ash, very much for taking the time to talk to me and to the people that might be listening afterwards. I hope you get a good night's sleep after you're done with all this.
I'll try. I might stay up for a bit.
Okay.
Thank you so much for
Well,
having me on here as well. It's been great.
okay, you betcha. Have a good night and thanks again.
Good night.
Bye.